Yeah, thank you. I am a board member at Kennedy Enterprises and a partner and principal at Valcent, which is a sustainable farming technology. And our family's investment strategy is informed by the philosophy of my uncles, John and Robert and Edward Kennedy. And we believe that you can make a profit and make a difference. And so we invest in companies that we believe can make change in the world. And we believe that if you innovate and make change, you will have a good business. So this particular company was picked by Time Magazine as one of the best ideas, and it was chosen by NASA and Nike Corporation as one of the 10 best new sustainable companies in the world. I'm going to roll a short video that Nike and NASA did about the technology, which explains it, and then I'm going to say a few words about the U.S. agricultural market, which I think have portents for the world. Thank you.
Anything is a matter of overcoming inertia. This holds true for ideas as well. This is the mission of launch: to set in motion the search for and acceleration of emergent ideas and innovations that address the urgent and fundamental challenges to our collective sustained existence. Air, water, energy, food. To harness the same spirit of exploration that allows us to reach beyond our world and apply it to finding ways of living more sustainably upon it. To launch these ideas into the world so that they may find their natural orbits in the global discourse, and ultimately, a fixed place in a sustainable future. Of the water that covers over 2/3 of the Earth's surface, only 3% is fresh. Remove ice from the equation, and what's left to sustain the Earth's ecosystem is less than 0.5%. Agricultural and industrial waste reduces this number even further. In the developing world, lack of clean water for drinking and sanitation leads to increased disease, and the planet is growing thirstier. If current trends continue, demand will exceed supply by 63% within a generation. And while water may be undervalued and overused now, as it becomes increasingly scarce, water is poised to become for the 21st century what oil was to the 20th. It's time to turn the tide. Time to open the floodgates on innovative ideas that can fundamentally shift how we shepherd this most vital of resources. It's time to realize that ensuring a sustainable future for life on Earth means taking care of the element where life itself began: water.
My name is Stephen Smith. I'm with Valcent Americas, and we're dealing with the issue of providing healthy, fresh food to urban communities in a way that's sustainable. The world population is going to grow. What that means is we're going to run out of land for our farmers. 70% of the water we use now in the world is for agriculture. The runoff from that water is treated with herbicides, pesticides, silt, and manure, and it's unusable. So the current soil-based farming system that we're now using is going to have to be modified in order for us to sustainably produce the amount of food we need on the planet. A verticrop is a computer-assisted growing system. It can sit in a greenhouse on a rooftop, inside a building, or on a vacant lot and produce in a 70 by 100 square foot area about as much food as a 16-acre farm. The way it works is there's two rotating systems of conveyors. The plants are on the conveyors on trays. They're stacked about 20 feet high. They're brought around to a nutrient source which dispenses water and nutrition to the plants. It reads a barcode, gives them the exact amount of water and nutrition they need. There's LED lighting system on the wall that simulates natural sunlight because you can't get ambient sunlight all the way down through 6 or 7 layers of plants. So the plants get perfect light, they get perfect air circulation, they get perfect nutrition. And all of the water is recirculated. It acts just like an ecosystem. And these plants, being in urban areas, are going to produce oxygen and consume carbon dioxide, which is going to improve the air quality in urban areas. What this technology does is it takes food production and it puts it back into urban areas where food is consumed. So it requires up to 90% less water than conventional agriculture. It's about 50 to 100 times more efficient in terms of land use. huge savings from energy costs because you're not transporting food, you're not transporting water for irrigation, and you're not producing fertilizer with petroleum-based products. If you can put food production back into cities and you can produce food more efficiently with less land, less energy, and less water, you've really addressed some major social issues. So the United States produces the cheapest, most abundant food on the planet right now. But there's 4 problems with the way we're producing food in America. The first problem is that we're using too much energy. The average food in America gets shipped 1,500 miles from farm to table. An estimated 41% of U.S. non-automobile transportation cost is moving food. So that's a huge carbon footprint and a huge expense. Secondly, this is a slide from Time magazine of the system and how it looks. This is in a zoo in England where we're feeding primates who have a very diverse need for different types of leafy greens. So the first problem is the energy use. Secondly, we're using way too much water. If you look at California, which is the largest agricultural state in America and the 3rd largest agricultural economy in the world, it takes about 10 gallons of water to grow 1 head of lettuce. This will grow with about 0.78 gallons of water. So it's about 90% more efficient. The other problem, you know, we're using a lot of land. This uses less land. The third problem is that we're polluting our environment. Large-scale agriculture is a major contaminant in America. The cancer, birth defects, and other illnesses have been associated with the use of pesticides and herbicides in food. And those pesticides and herbicides are washing into our river systems. And for example, in the Gulf of Mexico, there's a hypoxic zone or a dead zone where nothing will live that's several hundred miles wide from agricultural runoff in the Mississippi River. And that's happening in watersheds all over the world. The last problem is that there's an epidemic of obesity in America. It's estimated that 1/3 of American children are going to be obese in the next several years. And we have massive problems with heart disease and diabetes that are direct result of our diet. This is called an ANDI chart. It's an aggregate nutritional density index chart, and it indicates those foods that are most high value for human health. And the highest value foods for human health, it turns out, are leafy greens. The top of this chart is nothing but leafy greens. So in terms of a sustainable, healthy human diet, leafy greens are the #1 food that you can eat. And this is something that we haven't paid sufficient attention to in America and in other parts of the world. This is a depiction of, you know, a farm in China, and we're planning an installation in New York City as well. So this is less land, less water, less food. I mean, more food and a healthier world. And the last thing I want to say is that, you know, what's happening in America right now is there is a revolt. This is an unsustainable system, and there is a revolt against the current food system in America, and it's the biggest political and social movement in America. You see, and it's reflected in everything from the leadership of Michelle Obama to the talk show of Oprah Winfrey to Whole Foods Market, which is the fastest growing agricultural business in America. Yale University now has a degree in sustainable farming. This is a potent political force in America, and consumers are seeing market choice as political choice, and they're seeing their food choices as a statement about their identity and their desire to take responsibility for their own health and for the environment. And so you see the prices of leafy greens going up, increased demand for them. There's not enough land to meet that demand. And so there's a big market opportunity here to do this and to have a sustainable product and have a very financially successful product. And so the last thing I'm going to say is a little personal, which is 3 nights ago, we celebrated the 50th anniversary of President Kennedy's inaugural address, in which he said, you know, asked Americans not what their country could do for them, but what they could do for their country and for humanity. And the other thing that he said, you know, is it going to be hard to change our food system? And yes, it will be hard. But the other thing that he said, which is interesting, is he said, we choose to go to the moon and do other things in this decade, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because this goal will be the best measure of our energy and skills. And because this is a challenge we refuse to postpone, one we will accept, and one which we intend to win, and the others too. And I think that's the kind of optimism and common spirit that we need to approach these problems with. And so I think we can solve these problems together. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. How to reduce the cost of this production? Is it accessible for poor people?
That's a very good question, and I was just talking with the professor from KAUST, and this right now is very economically competitive in the United States, which is a relatively wealthy market. But in order to really make this a global technology, there has to be an investment in research and development. And I think there's an opportunity for a country or a company to take a lead in combining engineering, genetics, and economics, and really re-engineering the world agricultural system in a significant way. So I think where every crisis is an opportunity, as my Uncle Robert Kennedy used to say, and I think this is a big opportunity. It's a big social and political opportunity, but it's also a big economic opportunity.
Thank you.